Okay.
I was all over the place.
So you're dialing everything. And were you booking them ahead, or were you trying to go ahead and sit and run them immediately?
Some I was booking ahead. It kept coming out of my mouth as a habit. Is this a good time?
Yeah.
I knew when it'd come out of my mouth, I'm like, why am I saying that?
So that would explain 29 connects and 15
Right.
appointments.
Yep.
Okay. So, and then as far as the sits goes, is that because you were trying to, it's because they didn't answer if you booked ahead?
No, the sits, like what I was considering sits, is that what your question is?
Well, I've got 15 appointments booked and then 9 sits. So I'm
yeah, because like if you book an appointment, they don't answer the phone the next time you call them.
Right. But so out of the sits that you did, were
Mm-hmm.
any of those that you sat with booked ahead?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you had a little bit of a mix on that.
Right.
Okay. All right. So I guess my question then would be how did you feel like your conversations went? And if you've got a critique, give me a critique, but I want to know how your conversations went.
I feel like I was very inconsistent in my conversations. I wasn't really sure whether to go off the script or the telesales ATM. I was kind of going back and forth, playing with both. I wasn't really sure where it's going, so I was not confident in my conversations. I felt like I was a new agent all over again. I also had a lot of things in my head that was kind of negative with just personal stuff going on. Okay. And I did not reach out, and I should have reached out. I was overwhelmed last week by just my head. I couldn't get out of my own head and just reach out to ask for more coaching. I should have done that. That's where I failed. I should have also done a lot more dials. Like, I worked 2 days this week and I've already beat my dials in 2 days. Yeah. Like 231 dials is nothing. I already have done 250 dials in just 2 days. Well, so if I had talked to more people, yeah, I think if I had dialed more, if I had talked to more people, I would have had more of a chance. Are you finding that you're as consistent with your dialing speed and moving quickly through the leads? Or no, I felt like last week I was all over the place in between interviewing, in between, am I running appointments? Am I booking appointments? Am I talking to you now? It was hard to transition from just dialing the phone to, okay, now I'm talking to somebody as if I'm in the house, to now go from that conversation I didn't sell anything to now I have to pick up the phone and go with a good attitude right into the next. So I was having a really hard time. I felt like I was all over the place last week. I feel much better this week. I'm glad. I know, right? Yeah, Heidi smile. Yes. So this is what I'm thinking. First of all, I think the first week that I did this, I was all over the place. I still am a little bit, but I feel like that you lose, and this is for everybody, I feel like you lose a lot of energy, or you waste, not lose it, but waste a lot of energy when you don't make a decision to do one thing or another. And especially it's in your mind, because I feel like what your mind produces, what you're thinking about and what you're wanting is what you're going to produce. Right. I feel like I've been seeing that a whole lot this year, and I'm thinking that our brains are much more powerful than anybody really gives them credit for. Mm-hmm. We just make stuff happen when we think about it and think about making it happen. I hate to say that because it sounds a little bit cliche, but if you're going one direction and you've got 5 thoughts going the other direction, you're fighting your own brain. It's not working really well,
it's really, really, really gonna kill your progress.
That's so true, because I mean, you know me, I cannot stand change. I like to learn what I'm supposed to do and then do it, and then just do it and do it and do it. And
Right.
Don't change anything, because I know what I'm doing, so don't change it. And so I think all last week I was just so resistant on everything's changed.
Mad.
Everything's changed. Everything in my entire world has changed, and I don't like it. I want it to go back. And so I fought that the whole week. And now I realize it's just going to be this way. So I'll get used to this.
Yeah.
I just don't like
I'm proud
change.
of you for that. I'm
Yeah.
proud of you for that. And
Thanks.
I've talked to a lot of people, even very, very high producers, who
Mhm.
have been having that mindset. And it doesn't matter how good you are at what you do. That's the mindset's got to change first.
Right.
And I think in general, I mean, I know it is with some people. With me, it's just fear in general. You know, like, I don't like this change. I'm doing good. Why does everything have to change? It's all going to hell. It's all bad. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And I think that is really, really hard for people to get past.
It is. I know. And I was thinking, I can't sell. How am I supposed to support myself and my son when I can't sell? I can't
Right.
do it. I can't see another day and I can't do it. See another day and I can't do it. And then this week I have, so it was a boost to my confidence to remind me that, oh yeah, wait a minute, I can. And guess what, Katrina?
What?
I did my first e-app and I actually got paid on it already.
Okay, so are
That's
you guys
exciting.
ready? I have some general overall overview. First
Okay.
of all, what you think about and what you focus on are number one.
Mhm.
I'm really serious about that. I'm not always in the best mental health. Junior can attest to that. So I will promise you it's not always easy, but when you're having a problem with it, you really got to reach out. If you don't, you're going to suffer.
Yeah.
Because nobody else has to worry about your paycheck except for you.
Right.
So if you need help, reach out. Another thing is, I don't mind constructive complaints, but I had a serious conversation with a very high producer this week in another state, and all he did was complain.
Or she, we don't know who it was.
I'm just saying who. Nobody knows. But the problem is okay, I love y'all. Get the heck over it. Let's move on. Let's focus on what we want, not what we don't want. So that's number two. Number three, I think, Heidi, for you especially, you have learned how to connect with people and how to sell. What you are getting confused about is what I got confused about in the very beginning is the process of it. Do I do this now? Do I do this now? Do I do this? What do I do? Right? And my advice to you, specific advice, okay, guys, so you need to be careful about this. My specific advice to you is to, number one, use the phone. Don't worry about videos or anything right now. It is not necessary. I have been doing 99.999% of all of my sales via telephone only. No video. And it can be very confusing. It's a lot to add to the process. And most people are very comfortable just talking on the phone.
Yeah.
So don't feel like you have to be on the video. Like, let's back up, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed, which you are. Back up, just focus on the phone. I don't know what you're doing as far as that goes, but I'm just letting you know I've had extreme success on the phone. And then instead of, I'll let you talk. I just want to finish what I'm thinking. Instead of worrying about a script, okay, number one, have you ever learned to ask permission for an appointment? No. Okay. So number one, why are you now? Do you have a few minutes now? Is permission in a way. What I've been doing is just starting to talk to them about the conversation. I'm starting the conversation immediately. Now, if I get any resistance, oh, hey, I know I need to talk about that, or no, F off, or whatever, I'll roll into handling that objection at that time, but I'm not going to bring it up ahead of time. So I'm not asking at all whether or not they have a few minutes or whether they can do this now. Oh, can you do this now? No, I'm doing this now.
No.
This is Katrina the bulldozer. So you need to be a bulldozer in that particular case. And we're not being rude. We're just getting right into what we're calling about. What else do they have to do? Most people don't have anything to do. And even if it wasn't Corona time, guess what? They still don't have anything to do because most people we talk to in the state of Florida are retired. They don't have anything to do anyways. So that's number 2 advice. The number 3 advice, Heidi, is don't worry about a script so much as we're trying to help these people. How do we normally help these people? Well, we find out what it is that they need, how we can help them and their families get what they need within a budget. Period. That's what we're doing. You do not need a script for that. What you're doing is overcomplicating it for you. Now, some people need scripts, okay? That's why I said this is very specific. So if it's something that this does not apply to you, just shut your ears. But some people need scripts. You don't need a script. What you need to do is listen to people and talk to people. And the whole point is to help them. That's always the way you've worked. That's always the way you connected with people. Shut your eyes and listen to them and talk to them like you've got nothing else going on. Because if I know you and your house, there's about 1 million distractions. It makes it a lot harder to listen to somebody when you've got noises and things going on and stuff bouncing here and there, and that's cool. But do everything that you can to block that out. That's why I said close your eyes. I know that sounds a little bit silly, but it shuts off some of your other senses so that you can focus on listening to the person that you're on the phone with. That's so, so, so helpful to me, because otherwise I'll stop listening to them. And as soon as you stop listening, it's really hard to help somebody you're not listening to.
Right.
So that is big. Just talk to them, find out what it is that they need. I mean, you sell people like this all the time on a regular basis where they say, well, I don't think I really need any more life insurance. I was really wanting to say that just okay and hang up with a guy today because I did not have it on my schedule to sell anything. I did not want to sell anything. I know that sounds really dumb to the rest of you, but I did not want to do that kind of work today. I have got other stuff I've got to do at some point to make sure I get paid on all this junk I'm writing. So I was trying to do something else, but he called me back. Well, I already got life insurance and I don't really know what I was thinking. And so I really had to say, whoa, whoa, whoa there, hold your horses, girl, and listen to this guy. I had to shut my eyes and I had to listen. And then I had to find what I could help him with. And it turns out he had a policy, right? He was wanting to make sure his cremation was taken care of. So I stopped and listened to him because he was trying to think like, oh, should I prepay? How should I set this up for my family? And I flat out told him, I said, I don't do that. You can prepay. This is the way it works. And this is the way this works. I don't suggest you do it that way. This is what I would suggest. He's like, okay, so I don't need to do that, but I've already got the insurance. And I explained to him very, very, very nicely, about why we review policies in a sense. And he was cool. So we called and reviewed his policy and I was able to find him something better and get some money in his pocket, which is exciting for people when they are on Social Security, because long story short, when he had a policy, it started in 2012. Maybe this will help some of you guys when you're reviewing policies, but 2012, he got this policy. It was preferred tobacco. Okay, tobacco rates are 40% higher than non-tobacco rates on average. He hasn't smoked for several years now. Based on his meds and based on his history, he would qualify for a preferred non-tobacco rate, which is 40% lower. So it's the same thing that he was paying, right? But he gets $1,000, almost $1,100 back in cash value. A lot of people wouldn't have seen anything or sold anything there. And I know I'm kind of getting long-winded. Junior's looking at me. Sorry. A lot of people wouldn't have seen anything there. But but I want to make sure that you guys know, as far as policy reviews, you're missing out if you don't notice things like that. Ask specific questions when you call these companies, get the cash value, get their rating, okay? Because I asked them specifically, okay, so what was that policy rated when he bought it? They said preferred tobacco. So that, in my mind, that gives me an idea of why it was high at the time. And now what has changed and what can we do better? Preferred non-tobacco, way better, same price, $1,100 cash in hand, no more premium, no brainer. But I had to really stop and listen. And that's the main thing that I'm thinking, Heidi, is you're treating this differently than you would. And the whole question, I know Blake brought this up earlier, was, you know, the difference between telesales and in-home sales. So I'm going to go from Heidi to everybody else on the general. There is no difference in the way we treat our customers at all.
Right.
None at all. We're still trying to do the same thing that we were doing for them. We just have to learn to connect without seeing their house or seeing their face or driving an hour away to them. And you might think it would be harder. I don't think it is. I think if you turn off the distractions around you and listen and just try to conversate with them.
Distractions in your brain too.
Well, that kind of helps. Sometimes we need medication for that.
She is not licensed to give that kind of medical advice.
But if we can kind of turn off our distractions, then we can really do a lot better at helping people. And it's easier. That's why I say close your eyes, because otherwise I'm seeing stuff around the room or flying around my head, and you know, I'm like the cat, you know, and I can't focus. I'm using stupid examples, but maybe that will help. So it's no different at all. Actually, I'd say it gives me more of an opportunity, because if I book, let's say I book 15 appointments in 2 days, right? And if somebody has a question about this, I want to know. But let's say I book 15 in 2 days, and I go out and I might sit with, I don't know, 7, 8. I am notorious for taking a long time on appointments. Notorious. So I no-show my clients. And then some no-show you. And so, I mean, you look at the productivity, the number of appointments that I'm able to run now is way more. I'm not having to drive to and from. Even if it's close by, typically it's 30 minutes on average anyways. It might be 45 minutes or an hour to and from an appointment. So I'm adding time back into my schedule there. And if I have one that no-shows me, guess what? I don't waste any time. All I do is grab my leads and keep dialing. So I'm not, I don't care as much about efficiency when it comes to stuff like that, because I have something immediately to do. I can replace it with a new one. That's the cool part about this, is we have a lot more opportunities within a shorter time frame to do this kind of work. And as long as we have people to call, and that's a variety, so you don't need to just call one type of lead. You need to use all of your sources that you can. You need to make sure that you stay on the phone and that you don't dilly-dally.
So,
and that you keep your mind right. And that's pretty much what I would say is makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And thank you, Katrina. I was
Sorry.
why quit apologizing. So I was taking notes because she's really amazing at making you feel like she cares. Okay. And I say that very specifically, making you feel like she cares.
I may or I may not.
Okay. And that sounds heartless, but here's why. I care about people. Like I really do. But sometimes I don't make people feel like I care. But I know I do. Does that make sense? But because I don't make them feel it, I don't get the same results she gets all the time. Right. So she really, really makes people feel special. The other thing, Heidi, and for everybody, so any call that you get from a client is an opportunity to make an additional sale. Okay. And be careful with that, because that doesn't mean they call and are like, oh, here's another sales opportunity. No, you still got to care. What do they need? But in the back of your mind, it is a potential for a referral or a potential for a I mean, there's so many products right now. And if we can talk to them and not make it feel like we're selling something, more like we're helping them with a problem, which is what we always done, it's ridiculous. One suggestion is, if it's a sales day, Heidi, it's a sales day.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Okay. I know you got Isaiah. I think you got Isaiah. What is this? Close that out. I know you got other agents, so brand new. If you're selling, you have my permission to not answer somebody's phone. Text them.
Okay.
Reach out to them late at night when you're done, or early next morning. Okay. Now, if somebody's brand new and they're in an appointment themselves, we have several different people that can be available to help if they're in an appointment. That's kind of really the main exception, is if they're in an appointment. Because if who's already licensed?
But if you've got somebody in an appointment and you're running appointments regularly, they would have a backup, or they would have people to talk to. We need to do the same thing now, because when your attention is divided like that, you feel like you're working all that time, and you are, but you're not doing what you set out to do for the day. So you're really feeling like you've not accomplished anything.
Okay. So that's a big thing, and it's a big thing for me, right? And on days when I'm just selling, I'm more effective. On days when I'm split, I'm not as effective. Now, I'm helping other people, but number one rule of business, stay in business. If you got zero money coming in, you ain't in business. You out of business. Does that make sense? So, and that's not Heidi. This is everybody. You know?
Well, I know.
God, I had some other stuff to say. What you were saying, it was just so good. You know what I was thinking is, looking at this angle, I feel like we should set up a kind of like a talk show. Maybe like have like a little couch and a camera, and then we could just have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, drink, sip, makeup.
We should do it next week. We're gonna have a talk show set up, lights. We can figure this thing out. It's gonna be awesome. I'm starting to like this. Let's see. Oh, something really, really quick. This is just for our team, and the contest is over, so it's just over, but I want to announce it because we really haven't with all the craziness. So we ran a contest for the month of March, so switching gears. So the contest was going out. If you meet somebody on the street, like a cashier or somebody you like or somebody you're impressed with, you shake their hand. Don't do that now. We got the corona. But you shake their hand and you say, hey, I'm impressed with you, Al. Okay, I got a business. We need some help. You might be good at this. And we get your name and number and we tell you about our business. So we did a contest for the whole month of March, and we had 3 winners. This is across our team. Okay, so in order. So number 3 gets $25 cash. Number 2 gets $50 cash. And then number 1 gets $100 cash. And then when the virus is over, we're going to do dinner. We can't do it right now. So we're going to do dinner. So number 3 in the United States of America, and I don't think she's on here. She couldn't be on here today, but Destiny Velez, so she won. That's pretty cool. Number 2 is Jennifer Priest. Congratulations. And then number 1, Heidi Jones. So you're gonna get $100 cash. We're gonna deposit that. We're gonna deposit that by Friday. You're gonna have it. Okay. Will Cash App work?
Yeah, that's fine.
That'll work. Okay, cool. And then dinner. So we're gonna do it.
Yay.
All right. So I wanted to get that out of the way.
Good.
What else did I have?
I was wondering if anybody else had questions.
Yeah. So we're opening it up.
We're getting ready. About 10 minutes. I gotta bust this joint and get on.
So, Junior,
Who?
can I jump in for a second?
Do you have a question, Dennis? Because what we're trying to do is help people.
Not a question. I just wanted to ask you to comment about the opportunity call tonight at 9.
Mm-hmm. So at 9 o'clock, okay, we have a we call it a show the plan. So Mike and Noel are going to be doing all the basics of our business. So Isaiah, Chris, if y'all have not seen Mike and Noel, y'all need to be on there if you can, and just watch them. They are mentoring me. They're mentoring Katrina. They've been following our CEO, Andy, for 20 plus years now. And he's an electrical engineer. She was a recruiter. They've been married 20 plus years. They got four, almost got it wrong, 4 kids. Yeah, they got 4 kids. It's like, I know this. So they got 4 kids. They have helped me with my life, business, marriage, financially. Like what I've got is because of Mike and Noel. Like, no kidding. It's because of them and because of the opportunity Andy set up. So I would be on that listening to him. Okay. Does that get promotion? Dennis, is that good?
Yeah, it covers a lot of things we didn't cover here tonight, which is how the business works and just really the meat of the business. So
there we go. All right, cool. Now, Jacob, what's her name? Jacob, all the people that haven't sold something, is there any questions on what Katrina was saying or any questions that you're struggling with that wasn't covered specifically? Because we're trying to help.
Hey, Junior, this is Janine Ortiki. I just had, if I can interject, a positive thing. Actually, I'm a life coach, so you guys are going to hear a lot from me because, when Heidi was sharing, when she said, I can't sell, if everybody can just look at those kind of things they say to themselves and flip it around and just say the opposite, and really keep saying that to yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and make yourself, just really start to believe I can sell. When people talk to me on the phone, I close every single time. So make your positive affirmations and really pump yourself up. But the other thing that I was going to say, I feel kind of uncomfortable sometimes if I don't know where I'm going, just like, Katrina was saying too, it's like we feel uncomfortable because we're all over the place. So one thing that helps me is like, if you have a certain thing you're doing, do that for the first couple of hours. Just keep that one thing and then switch to the other task. You know what I'm saying? So if you're making certain kind of calls, you group them together. Absolutely. And it'll flow better. So like, if you're trying to recruit somebody, do your recruiting in a set of hours and then just do your calls in a set of hours, and it's going to go much smoother. So I just wanted to share that.
Awesome. Thank you, Tiki. I appreciate that. Let's see. Jacob, Tracy, Mike, Jennifer, Felicity, Karen.
I had a question.
Yes.
Okay, I was wondering, I guess of course, for doing the appointments, for not doing telesales, but when we were running an appointment, when we were in an appointment actually sitting with the client, I'm wondering how is it different to do, I guess, for policy reviews if the client has a policy currently, and how do you handle, I guess, doing a policy review with the company and the client now over telesales?
Good question. So it's no different than if you were inside of a house doing a policy review at all. You've got Mutual of Omaha, hold on, let me get them on the phone, and then you call Mutual of Omaha and you three-way the client in, and that's it. It's no different than if you were inside of a client's house, right? Simple answer. Good question. What other questions? I got one other thing just to help out a little bit, but what other questions are there?
The policy review, and there was another question, but it'll come back. So, thank you.
All right. So here's the thing, and then we'll break. Okay. I said it on the TWC. Okay. But the biggest thing that holds people back is not knowing what to do, is actually starting. Like, knowing what to do and starting are two totally different things. Knowing what to do and working no matter how you feel are two totally different things. Okay, so I'm gonna go on a soapbox, positive soapbox for 3 minutes, and then we'll break. Okay. Positive soapbox. Okay. So yes, it's hard. We're not sure. Okay. Treat this like a job, Tracy, Mike, Felicity. If you're not feeling good, you would wake up and go to your job, no matter what. I got a headache. Is that a good enough excuse to not go to your job? Nope. Okay, then what should you do? Job. Okay. Don't treat this any different than you would treat a job in that sense. Does that make sense? Your first week at a job, are you comfortable and do you understand everything? No, but you still show up. You still try. You still have a positive attitude. You still ask for help. Does that make sense? Katrina, if you can elaborate a little bit on this, because I think what's hurting most people is they start and stop and start and stop, or once it gets hard, they just back off. Can you elaborate on just the fact of just showing up? Can you talk about that for like 30 minutes and then we'll dismiss everybody?
I don't think it matters if we're doing telesales or we're doing any in-home sales or what you're doing. If you have your own business, I think the majority of people who fail in that endeavor, they fail not because the business doesn't work, it's because they don't work. And I'll elaborate on that because I don't know if anybody has had this issue before, a parent or a relative or a friend, well, why can't you do this with me? You work for yourself, don't you? Why can't you do this? Well, don't you have more time? You work for yourself. And that's fine. But if you don't be your own boss, nobody is going to be your own boss. So you have to pretend like you've got somebody there fussing at you until it's so ingrained that you do what you need to do to make your activity. So showing up is big, right? But decide what you want. Let's see how much money do I need to make? What are my goals? What do I want? Set up the amount of activity you need to do in order to hit your goals, and then be rigid about the activity that you do, about the goals that you set up for yourself. It's not about being bossed around or not being able to laze around. Being your own boss is all about being able to have what you want to have. And having what you want to have doesn't always mean you sit around and eat bonbons. That most of the time it means you're probably going to work harder to an extent, but you're working for what you want and not for what somebody else wants. Sorry, my nose is itching. So if you remember that it's your choice to have what you want, get in your mind what you want first, make clear goals, and then determine the amount of activity on your own, what you think you need to do in order to hit these goals. And then do it. It's going to be your choice though, because nobody's going to fuss at you if you don't show up. Well, Junior might. If you told him you were going to show up and you didn't, because he wants you to succeed and he wants you to have what you want. But ultimately, you have to just go. And a lot of us feel like, oh, well, I work my own business. If we're not careful, I can lay in bed another 45 minutes, or I can do this another, and you can. Nobody's going to fire you, but you are missing out. If you set yourself a goal, you're missing out on time and effort and that you needed to put forth in order to meet your goal.
Yeah, that's huge. And if you're not sure how much activity to do, ask. Just ask. Here's a general rule. At the beginning, you're going to have to way overdo on the activity until you get good. That's just a general rule, but it's any business is like that. So anyway, look, y'all are awesome. I love y'all. It was so good to meet you. Al, Chris, I hope this was helpful. Chris, was this helpful?
Yeah, it was. I got a lot of notes actually.
Did you? Awesome, dude. Well, I'm glad you're here. You have no idea what an amazing leader Blake is. You have no idea what an amazing leader Heidi, Dennis, and Katrina are. I'm sitting here blown away by all these people that they're finding. I'm blown away by their character. I'm blown away by their work ethic. I'm blown away by the fact that they work no matter how they feel. And they're becoming, and they are amazing leaders. And I work for them. That's what I'm telling you. I work for them. I'm glad they're here. Whatever I can do to help, I'll be here. I'm working extra freaking figuring this thing out on the sales side so we can give it away, right? Which I think is huge. I mean, this was part of my goal 2 or 3 weeks ago, to just overwork on the sales side so we can come and just say, hey, Here you go.
How you do it?
Because I didn't want to be bringing people in and what the heck? Now, if you're brand new, you can bring somebody in and not know nothing. You got an
We will help
excuse.
you.
You got an excuse, right? But if I'm bringing someone in and I don't know how to sell, whew, that's a problem at this point, right? So, but we've already we're figuring it out, and it's figured out. Like, we're still, paychecks are crazy. So you bring somebody new in, we will teach them for you. You do not have to be an expert. So speaking about that, tomorrow at 3 p.m. from 3 to 5, we're going to do a business building session. Heidi, Blake, if anybody's available on this is just for our team. If you're not on our team, you can be a part of it, but it's really just my team I'll be reaching out to. But we're going to be talking to new people, building relationships. Blake had a couple people on there last week, and I helped him build his business. So we're having fun, having a blast. Reach out. There's stuff on band. There's conference calls happening. Just anything else? Leaving? Okay. Love y'all. Have a good night. Mike and Noel, 9 o'clock. Woohoo! See ya.